Hi everyone, it's just Tanya here from Callan & Co Sales and Lettings. We're back again for another episode with Emma from G3 Mortgages. This week, or this episode, we are talking all things deposits. I think what to be aware of, lots of different things. Emma is the expert, so she will tell us more.
Yeah, thanks, Tanya. Right, so deposits. So there's a few sort of bits I wanted to go through. So the first thing is when you are telling a mortgage broker or a lender that where your deposit is from, what I find is a lot of people say to me, and I said, it's always a question we have to ask because there's money laundering rules. And so we always say, where's the deposit come from? And I get loads and loads of people who say to me, it's savings. And I go, okay. So we will ask for bank statements showing, those savings.
And then they probably show it in their savings, don't they?
Yeah. So, but what we find is, I found recently as well, is I had one where literally the deposit had gone in on like 2 days before, like that. I'd spoken to them. So on the bank statement, you've got, 2 days ago, this lump sum going in for a deposit. So I said, I need to know where it's come from because of the money laundering rules. So I need the bank statement that's come, where, of that money coming in. Then you find out, it's a gift from, a relative or something like that. Now, there's no need to disguise that to a mortgage broker. 99% of mortgage lenders accept family gifted deposits.
Well, I think a lot of people have gifted deposits.
Yeah, not a problem at all. Even if it is gifted by a friend, your employer, your mate at the golf club, we have lenders that will accept that. So, there's no reason to be, for that to be a problem. The other issue I've had recently is a bank statement which showed, I asked for proof of deposit and get the bank statement to prove it. And actually I can see that it's a personal loan that's gone into the bank account.
Oh.
And of course I was told it's savings. Now, this can be an issue only because there's only 2 lenders that allow a deposit coming from an unsecured loan. And what they will do is they will take the monthly payment for the unsecured loan and they will deduct that out of your affordability. So it's not a massive issue, the loan, but just people need to be aware it will limit your lenders to 2. And if that monthly payment's too high, it will affect your affordability. And the one I did look at, they actually then couldn't borrow the money they needed for the mortgage.
Crazy, isn't it? So it does have really bad implications, really, doesn't it? And like you say, I don't think I'd be comfortable with the whole pool of lenders that are out there and only being restricted to 2. Actually, we've talked about this a lot and we'll probably do another episode in it. Personally, and that's how I got introduced to Emma, there's many reasons and there's things that you need to look at credit score, competitive credit things. There's so many different things that have to be looked at for your circumstances. To restrict that to 2 is just not something I would want to be taking a risk on, really.
As an independent mortgage broker, we're probably looking at 50 plus lenders when we're looking at a mortgage for someone, and we're sourcing through maybe 11,000 products. So if you're limiting yourself to 2 lenders, it's a massive,
and like
you
say, the implications for this one was just too much, wasn't it? Like they couldn't get the loan, and it wasn't a high priced property. It should have been affordable, but I understand. And actually, it just was that they weren't aware, and I think that's why we highlight in these videos.
Yeah, it was, and the thing is as well is when I'd asked where the deposit came from, they said savings, and then it comes in and it's a loan.
It's not.
Just be upfront. Just be, the more your mortgage broker knows at the outset, we can help. But if we're going off the basis it's savings and we're looking at other lenders and saying to you, it fits, no problem, and then you find out it's a loan, and then you have to take the loan payment into consideration, then that completely, in this case, not always, but in this case, it completely scuppered the deal of them being able to get a mortgage. So
no, I think that's really useful. So thank you.
No problem. There are other solutions to a deposit. So I get a lot. Well, I get a lot of people saying, I'm renting, so I can't afford to save for a deposit. And you know, obviously, as we've discussed before, you've got the 100% mortgage that Skipton offers, which is you know, if you've been renting for 12 to 18 months, they'll let you borrow as much on a mortgage as the monthly payment would be on your rent. So, you know, say your rent is £700 a month, as long as the mortgage payment is not over £700 a month, they'll lend to you with no deposit. But there's also other ways. You know, you've got, obviously we've talked about family gifted deposit. There's also family assist mortgages. So you can you basically borrow 100% subject to affordability for the property you want to buy, but the lender puts a 20% charge on a relative's property. So it sounds scary, but it doesn't stop your relative remortgaging. It doesn't stop your relative selling their home. The charge is only there for between 3 and 5 years until your property has gained that 20% equity.
The equity.
And they can have a mortgage. It could be a second charge. It could be on a residential. It could be on a buy-to-let. You know, you could have your grandma who's got, you know, no mortgage at all and is happy for a charge to go on for 20%. So no physical cash changes hands. It's literally
that's quite good, isn't it?
That lender takes 20%. Charge.
And maybe I think we should do a separate proper episode on that as well, because I think that's really useful for people to see, because it's definitely as our children are growing up as well, it's something I have to think about and worry about the deposits, and it's not easy for people. So
it's what I will do for my kids.
Episode on that. Yeah, no, definitely, and that's why we do it. It's hard enough getting on the ladder anyway, isn't it? And and then you talk about universities and life and college and everything. So it's about just knowing what's about out there. So thank you, as always. That has been great, and we'll be back again for another episode. So I'll see you all soon.